we want to be able to manage violence, we need to understand the nature of violence and what's driving it. If we understand what's sparking violence and what it's trying to accomplish, we'll have a much better chance at managing it, preventing it, or avoiding it altogether. The first kind of violence we'll consider is hardwired into the deepest part of our brain that keeps us alive. Fighting to survive is different than a bar fight. If you're being attacked by an animal, or if you're trapped in a car that's on fire, you will fight for your life to the point of a heart attack. When someone thinks that they're going to die, they will fight like a cornered animal. Someone that's drowning will take others with them. Someone might be in a psychotic state. They might believe that they're being attacked and killed. A drug addict in withdrawal physiologically feels like they are dying and need drugs to survive. Reasoning with people in this mental state doesn't work. It's like reasoning with a lizard. We need to remove the perceived threat, create safety and calm until professionals arrive. We don't deal with this type of violence very much because society has handled most of the threats like animal attacks, freezing, starving to death, and we've hired professionals to deal with the worst of this. So we may not have much experience with this type of violence unless we work in an institution. Again, the goal when managing someone who is in their lizard brain is to create safety, remove the perceived threat, and create calm. Use a low, slow, calming voice. The next type of violence is predatory. Predatory violence seeks property, body, or life. It's a hunter hunting prey. Predators use hunting tactics. They use stealth, surprise, greater numbers, superior weapons. This is an ambush. You probably won't see this coming if you're not aware. They've stalked and sized up their prey. They know where it's most vulnerable before the attack. It's not a contest. It's not two guys squaring off and challenging each other to a match fight. It's not someone trying to settle a score or reacting to an offense. It's someone wanting property, body, or life. If you've been targeted by a predator, social skills will not solve this problem. It's not like an apology is going to work things out and everyone will have an understanding. Begging does not work. This is business. You are an ATM machine. You're a piece of meat, or you're a plaything. You have to decide whether, hey, if they just want a piece of property that you can live without, you might just fawn and give up your property. Or if it's something more that they want, you might decide that you're going to fight with everything you have and hope that they weren't banking on you fighting back. This is someone who has selected you, stalked you, set the stage for his assault, and is mentally prepared. If you didn't observe the setup, you won't have many advantages. A lot will depend on how quickly that you can orientate to what's happening and decide how to respond, if you get a chance to respond at all. Maybe you were drugged. Maybe you were hit in the back of the head with a brick. Part of the plan might be to get you to go to a different location to commit the crime. If that's the case, do not go. Very few people ever return from a secondary crime scene. If they have a knife and tell you to get in the car, well then it needs to go down right then and right there, because going to that secondary crime scene dramatically decreases your chance of survival. Which is why the best way to handle a predatory assault is to recognize predatory behavior and avoid it. Another type of violence to consider is social violence. It's seeking status, enforcing rules, or protecting territory. Social violence is emotionally charged, ego-fueled, and ego-triggering. Social violence is the kind of fighting that needs an audience. This is two guys squaring off in a contest. They might get chest to chest, nose to nose. It's like two bucks clashing antlers to get status, or to protect territory, or to fight for mating rights. Social violence is trying to affect the social order. It determines who has authority and who is in control. Social violence can be sparked by rule enforcement, trying to maintain the social etiquette or moral code. Violence is punishment for breaking a social rule, and the threat of violence keeps that rule from being broken. Guarding territory defines who belongs and who doesn't. It could be gang territory, it could be private property. Social violence can almost always be avoided or de-escalated by keeping our ego under control and using social skills. The thing about social violence is it always comes with instructions. Get off my property or I will fill in the blank. If you don't shut your face, I'm going to fill in the blank. If we're arrogant, triggered, and ego-fueled, we might not hear the instructions or care. But if we listen, be aware, and respect the social environment that we're in, then social violence is almost always avoidable. So in conclusion, there are 3 different pieces of the puzzle that are important to understand. They are important to understand because different types of violence require different types of responses. Real violence isn't always 2 people squaring off and having a match fight. And the best response to a threat isn't always fighting. The more awareness we have of the different drivers of violence, the better we can train and prepare on how to respond effectively to different types of threats.